So let us start one more thing today. I have told you actually something called profiled membrane, isn't it? I said I didn't have a sample of the profiled membrane. So here is a sample of profiled membrane. So what is it you find in this now? So you see there's a profile. You can actually, this is a composite, but you see the projections which are there in this. Okay, this is projection now. So they made actually a composite out of this now. That means this layer is a membrane, and this layer is going to be a nano-angiotextile, isn't it? So this is what we said is going to work like a filter, and this is going to be a barrier basically. Now, why did they put the profile in this case? Because so much space is available now for water to flow through. So this kind of profiling is done specifically for tunneling now. You know, in tunnels now, depending upon the water table and all, a lot of water keeps coming into the tunnel actually. So before you do final concreting now, they place a layer of this. We'll see today a picture of that also. They first place a layer of membrane. It is anchored to that now. Over that, they have to place a geotextile also. Now, how to fix this geotextile there and how to fix this is all done by this kind of projections actually. So that's why profiling becomes necessary for two things: to help it fix it to the inside wall of the tunnel, and plus it also gives you so much space for water to flow through. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Then we also talked of what we call as gabions. I think it's better we see one specimen actually. So what is it we are trying to look at is we are trying to look at this shape actually, orthogonal shape, and then we are looking at this. This is called actually double twisting basically. That means it's mechanically made. Okay, a lot of machines are there in India. A lot of companies make it. Other point is that it's galvanized. Otherwise, it's steel rod only. Okay, so depending upon where we are going to use it now, this diameter can change. This shape of this may change slightly, but the dimension of the opening also may change. And then the twisting is also can be our own design. So this is actually product made in Gwalior only. So then sometimes we may coat it with plastic also. So galvanizing and plastic coating, what we are going to do it now, such that the corrosion is going to be minimal. So these are things I thought I will show you clearly. Then we will go to quickly our presentation now. When you talk of these applications, we already said that there are many areas of engineering in which we have profound use of geosynthetics. These areas in engineering we can categorize into obviously what we started geotechnical engineering, then hydraulic engineering, environmental engineering, highway and airport pavement engineering. There are other things which are also there, but then again, when we talk of these applications are what we are listing is going to be the most common applications. There are umpteen applications which are really possible, but then we will not be able to talk of all of them now. Okay, so typically we can think of geotechnical kind of applications in retaining walls, in foundations, in general stabilization, we can think of it. So when you talk of a retaining wall can be with a kind of slope also, can be vertical also, you will see all of them, but in principle what is we are trying to do? We are placing actually within layers of geosynthetics or within soil now we are placing layers of geosynthetics. So we will talk more about that in the next class onwards. Extensively, obviously, this is a reinforcement application. Then this principle of this is very simple. As I said, we are having these layers. Multiple layers are there. We try to find out there's pressure acting upon this system. And in principle, it is like a normal retaining wall only. But then the geosynthetic here actually will not allow this wedge to come out. That is basic principle now. So there are many varieties of this. We'll spend a lot of time in trying to design geosynthetic retaining structures. Is a major subject which are going to follow. But then what I'm trying to tell you is that there could be geotextiles, there could be geogrids, there are many kinds of things now. There could be steep slopes, there could be vertical walls, and slopes can be practically very, very high also, up to even 80-90 meter high. Almost we're going to build a mountain. And even steep walls can be up to 35 meter height. In India, I think it's very common to make 12 to 15 meters. And in fact, around the world now, particularly in the US, they are called as mechanically stabilized earth walls. Actually, MSC walls they call it now. And we can make the fascia elements as panels, concrete panels like this. They can be also made of block fascia. And the main thing is this is where the entire deck slab can be resting on this, on the wall, on the retaining structure. So this is actually called a true abutment. In other case in India, commonly the Deck slab will rest on the abutment, we can say pier, and the approach only we got a retaining structure. In this case now, they are called a true abutment. In this true abutment now, the deck slab also rests on this. So in fact, in the BAS code, which is in the making now, we'll also talk of this. We can have slopes, reinforced slopes now, and different kind of spacing can be there, different lengths can be there, and we can prevent all these things now, and they can be, as I said, near vertical also, and then naturally you can have a railway track, you can have a road, you can have many kind of structures. This is what I was talking of gabion walls now. This is a gabion wall basically, which can be made stable by itself, or we can also have actually the same mesh as a reinforcement. We'll talk of this also extensively. Gabion based walls. Then we can improve the foundations also for this now. Mind you, when I say foundation improvement, it is not, when you say foundation improvement, we are actually talking of bearing capacity improvement, because once a load is going to come of any kind, the load of the structure is going to be felt by the soft soil. That means it's going to subject to settlement. So what we can do through this kind of placement of layers of geosynthetic is going to be improve the bearing capacity. So later we'll talk of this now. There's a huge, say 10-meter high, 10.5-meter high embankment, uh, which is an approach to the bridge over river Godavari. And you can see this entire thing is the geosynthetic kind of cell. You can say that 1 meter thick cell is placed before it is embankment. So this is what we call as bearing capacity improvement on a soft black cotton soil up to 25-meter thick below. Then in the same way, we can stabilize the layers also, and more of it we'll talk on when we go to pavements now. Then whenever we have retaining wall, we need to have a drainage actually. Otherwise, if drainage is not allowed now, any inflow into this is going to cause water to remain there. That means the water pressure, the hydrostatic pressure is going to come, it will be added on to the earth pressure. So that is going to cause obviously severe damage now. So we have got many applications of drainage now. Building drainage, and then road edge drains now, and then fin drains. That means they are much more different. I will show a picture of that also. Then gutter roofing we can do, and then horizontal roofing we can think of it, and then parking decks we can think of it. Planters we can have it now. Oh, the number of applications for drainage is going to be so vast actually. So gas and water drainage also, sports fields. In fact, all the astroturf fields we are having for almost all the games today have always got a geotextile at the back, at the bottom of the astroturfing, because we don't want any water, because water there is going to impinge upon the elasticity of the entire turf actually. So that's why whenever we have a synthetic, a very common part of it now. So you can think of pressure relief now, tunnel drainage you will see I have just mentioned now, and drainage for leachates in the landfills now. So like this, the number of applications could be there in drainage. This is what I said is the kind of field drain now. That means like a sheet now, the same drain we thought of now. And then if this is placed in the soil, abutting, let's say, retaining structure or abutting basement wall now, it will take all the water and the water will go down and then it will pump it out actually. So that's why it is going to help this one. And also when the earth pressure is going to act upon this now, this is compressible media now. So the earth pressure by this, if it is a basement wall, you know very well that the earth pressure we take into account is the at rest pressure. And if you are placing this kind of compressible media now, the pressure will reduce because there is a compression of this entire composite now, which is of course the name of fin drain, and that reduces the earth pressure from the at rest condition to maybe active condition also into this class. Then other most important application I have mentioned is by using a PVD. I've shown you last time a PVD. So you can insert them into the ground now. And then soft soils, naturally, they will get consolidated because the amount of the distance they have traveled for the dissipation of the pressure, water pressure, excess or poor water pressure is going to be easy by placement of this now. Many applications of this is done in the country on soft soils, but in coastal region. And these materials, the PVDs we call it now, are also made in the country. So then we have umpteen application reservoir in terms. The subject by itself now, in fact, in Gujarat state itself, so many applications have been done. We will have special lecture on that now. So whenever we have dams leaking like this now, we can always place a layer for maintenance of the structure. And there is a case in Tamil Nadu, a dam actually called Kadambare Dam, wherein the loss was 80,000 liters per minute. The loss has been made into zero actually. No further loss when you place a membrane backed by a geotextile now. So like this, we can think of many structures actually, wherein we can think of canals also, we can think of storing fluids also in all these cases now. we can control basically the water flow, and absolutely not a drop of water can get out if you're doing it. So this membrane can be what we call as a geosynthetic membrane. It could be also a GCL, geosynthetic composite liner now. And today, the geosynthetic area has also progressed into agriculture. Now again, when you say canals, naturally we mean agriculture only, essentially because we do not want any loss of water into this now. No seepage should be there now. So most of the canals today are all lined, basically, lined with the membranes and a system backing up that now. We can also line the ponds and all, any reservoirs and storage areas, we can line it so that no loss is there. So this becomes so common actually that we can make ponds with lining, and then we can also do aquaculture in this now. So that is one thing which is becoming increasingly common in our country also. Earlier they used to do in black cotton soils, wherein there no hardly any loss of water is there, but that is prevented by the Supreme Court by law, by habit, by a special injunction. And today we can't do that kind of situation. Can't allow any waste leachate to get out of this. So we have to line them by membranes only. So in the same way, we can contain engineered landfills wherein we can have multiple layers of the geosynthetics on the bottom of this structure or on the side of this, and tomorrow when you cap it also. And in all these things now we have a number of geotextiles, membranes, GCLs, geonets and geotextiles and geogrids. Oh, you can think of geosynthetic, they're all there actually in a perfect engineered landfills now, even in the cover. And once the landfill is filled up, then also we can have number of the layers now, geocomposite or geonet now, geomembrane now, GCL now, and then geocomposite again, another kind of thing, geotextile, and then geogrid to support it now. And then we can also think of basically a layer of jute or coir material to cover it up such that it all looks green. So there are many kinds of situations like this now. All the landfills, when they're covered, actually they need multiple layers. When we start also, we need multiple layers at the base, at the side, and the capping. And just like we can store water, we can also store hazardous liquids, at least temporarily, in containers. So that means in a structure like a pond or like a canal, and then that is going to be great. And what we have for the jute and coir and synthetic erosion control systems now, we can just unroll them and have the turfing to grow over that now. And you can, for example, you can think of having this kind of rolls. In this case, made of coir now. This is a special case we have done in Chinchinada, that is in West Goa district of Andhra Pradesh, and it is spread over here. And finally, the green cover I will show you as we move further now. Then we have geosynthetics applications in transportation infrastructure and roads, and of course railways, asphaltic reinforcement, asphalt reinforcement now. The one thing which happens is whenever a subgrade is poor now, we can place a geosynthetic such that the pavement loads are transferred widely all around, or they're spread such that the stress below this geosynthetic is going to be reduced because of the way in which the load is being spread now. So when once the stress is reduced, the strain obviously reduces, and so that leads to long-term performance and minimizes obviously all the ruts and cracking things like this. Now, this is a case when they're reading in Amravati. Amravati to build as a capital of Andhra Pradesh. Now the whole work is suspended, but this is what we began after our designs from outside. So the geotextile, over that they got a geogrid, and over that the multiple layers are going to come. And this is a structure which is, this is a road which is going black cotton. Same also, we are going to use to reinforce the west layers at the top, which is concrete, has to be stronger than that. The only material which is stronger than bituminous mix is going to be essentially a glass grill kind of thing now. So it will be a glass composite which we can do it. Later I will show you a specific example wherein we have done in the Siddhapur of Jaipur, how we have done it now. In the same way now, almost all the roads in all countries have got a drain by the side of the road now. And this drain usually gets choked up now. So we have what we call edge drains. Edge drains are a must for performance of the roads because the number one enemy to any road structure is always going to be water only. So if you try to see that the water is not getting into the subgrade, that's the best. It will be allowed to pass on longitudinally and later transport the nearest drain. So one way of trying to minimize that kind of water getting into subgrade is going to be make a trench like this, longitudinal trench now, and then place a geotextile. And if you expect that a lot of water is going to come now, we can also place perforated pipe now, later fill with gravelly kind of material and cover it up and fill with soil now. So this becomes a drain by itself now. So all the water which is going to come from the sides, and you assume that this is the road actually, this is the pavement layer. So the water is going to get into this and carried longitudinally into the nearest drain. That is the way in which it's done. So this is what the structure is going to show. The drain can be naturally drain the soil only, or drain can be on the base layer, or it can be also on the topsoil, which is a shorter portion now. So depending upon where is the critical area, critical layer now, we can place that the drain actually in the way you want it. So these are called as edge drains. These are called as edge drains. In railways, Indian Railways have also been trying to use below the ballast layer. Maybe if time permits, we'll talk of that. We brought out a book on subject released by the IRCON when I was also director of IRCON by the managing director, Mr. Mohan Tiwari. So a lot of information is contained in that book. Then we have application of geophysics and tunnels underground structures in waterproofing and underground structures, and also containment of waste. Containment is special containment. So as I told you, if this is kind of tunnel we are going to make now. So as we make the tunnel now, there are a lot of these jobs are here now. The water keeps flowing into the tunnel now. We have to prevent it now. So initially, obviously, we try to coat it with a granite and things like this now, and that is to reinforce it initially. And then we place a membrane over this now. Over that, we place the what we call as a geotextile, and then naturally the entire thing is this is ready actually for concreting to be done now. The final lining system, concrete system will be done now. And these are very, very thick geotextiles, very thick membranes are used in this case. In fact, when I was Zircon, I have seen the Benihal tunnel also. Even all these places, they have been using this extensively. Their kind of thing. And we also have a waste, including nuclear waste now. So when you make these underground structures now, definitely these are all lined with not only for waterproofing now, in order to see that the nuclear waste is not coming out now, we have special containers made like this now, so that they're not at the ground now. They don't leach any chemicals or hazardous waste into the ground water, and so they're called secondary containment. That means it's a very caustic kind of waste, including nuclear waste, can be also contained. The only material which will not cause further damage is going to be of nuclear waste or any such kind of special waste, highly concentrated waste, including ash, chemically active ash, and so that containment is done using a geosynthetic liner system. Then, of course, most commonly we have the coastal river bank erosion control, reservoirs and dams, and canals. I already shown to you. So one is that the structure we are going to have for the beach, let us say, when you have these waves coming in, it erodes the slope. Since long, it is a practice to place initially maybe stones or also tetrapods and things now, but none of them actually sincerely protect this layer, protect the soil behind the slope, and that is best done, for example, in this fashion. Sorry, that is best done in this fashion. That instead of directly allowing this either a bank or river bank or coastal erosion control, so instead of directly allowing the water to come into the slope now, instead of just having those stones individually, we may place a geotextile below that now, and which will ensure that only water flows this way that way, and then the stones are naturally or held up there only. So the systems is explained in a simple way here, but then we also have a lot of systems which are not mentioned in my different types now because they're all made with woven or non-woven geotextiles. We have bags of different sizes, smaller sizes can be filled up by labor, and then they can be kind of covered, actually covering a critical slope, critical bank in a river. This is what I'm showing you is a picture of Sarda River in UP, and behind this was a non-woven geotextile also. And then there are also tubes which are could be 3 meter diameter, normally about 20 meter long now. So they can be placed on the shores, and then they can be buried also. They can be weighed down also, and to see that the bed of the canal or river is not eroded. And these are the tubes. We can also make heavy much container kind of structures also. That means you can see that the sand is contained and the entire thing is what you call dumped into the ground, such that the jetty or any other structure they're making has got a base, has got a good base. So basically, they're all geosystems we call geotextile systems now, and they are of very common use today. In fact, geotextile bags have been started using very extensively, except that the placement is not very proper. But then they have been found to be quite successful in today's world. And one such tube we use in Uppad, Andhra Pradesh is behind this now. This is just a cover for this now using rope gabions. It's just a protection for that, so that the waves which are coming in, including tsunami waves, are not attacking the tube itself, and the wave is wave energy dissipated by using this now. And these are all basically PP ropes. to contain them. So just to summarize the whole thing now, if you think of application, subgrade pavement civilization. The functions could be separation, reinforcement, filtration. The product can be used as geotextile geogrid now. Railroad trackbed civilization, drainage, separation, filtration, geotextile or geogrid. Asphalt overlay, stress relieving layer, waterproofing now. It could be glass grid or a geotextile and geogrid. Then we have soil reinforcement, embankment, steep slopes, vertical walls. So again, reinforcement parallel function now. We can think of using for any one of them now, either geotextile or geogrid now. Then drainage, subsurface drainage. I told you edge drains are also called French drains. And then filtration is the main thing now. And non-oven geotextile is obviously the most common thing. Then subsurface drainage now, filtration, fluid transmission. Then it is prefabricated drainage composites are the best. Then erosion control, under reprab, filtration, separation, non-oven geotextile is the best. So then we have surface erosion control, work light I have shown you, turf reinforcement. It can be erosion control mats. Biomats are another name for jute or core geotextiles, natural materials. Then canal pond lining, moisture barrier, membrane, geomembrane. Landfilling, engineered landfills, separation, filtration, drainage, reinforcement barrier, all the functions there now. So then we find that we can use geotextiles, geogrids, membranes, GCLs, and geopipes, and of course all other materials. So most extensive use is done in landfills. Then geomembrane protection or cushion, and cushion could be only non-oven geotextile. So we find that the applications are many, but when you are trying to say that this is the issue, naturally we are going to pick up what is the function required. When once you have identified the function required, it's easy to find out the products now. So mind you, in all the cases now, we usually give more than one product now. It's not that only one product is best. It's that it can be a variety of combination of this could be there now. And within a product category also, what is thickness, what is the weight, what is the strength, what is the permeability, many things are going to be considered before we choose a particular kind of geosynthetic now. So that is what we are looking at now. So to summarize the whole thing, we have through all the survey and the use extensively in development for the last, say in India, 35 years now, we find clearly geosynthetics are bona fide engineering materials. Today we have test methods and designs available. Yes, continuous improvement is being done in design procedures based upon our experience and internal experience. Then basic advantage of geosynthetics is quality control of factory manufactured products now. Because when once they are made in factories in India particularly, you can always go and inspect it. We can get tested wherever you want to take it now. You can get tested in the raw labs, where if they are accredited laboratories, or you can pick up samples from there and they get tested now. So they know, I should say, no hanky-panky in this now. But each product now must be accompanied by rigorous construction quality control and construction quality assurance in the field also. And in fact, this is what we start with when you go to the next topic of geotextiles. Because testing and evaluation of the product is going to be most important for us in many different ways. Then, of course, wherever we use but for small issues, wherein the construction would be an issue or design to an issue, field performance has been excellent. And the potential, as I said earlier, is awesome. I mean, something fantastic you can say very easily. And with this now, I have always been mentioning to you that these geosynthetics have played a role in the country, more so because they all began to be manufactured in our country now, manufacturing to the world-class kind of materials and also exporting them in a big way.